I ain't know how to answer. Just smash another ant. So I'll take that as a no. Cotton walked up, sat down beside me. She was eating a water ice, cherry flavor. Want some? She held it out. Again, I ain't know how to answer. I just got it from down the street. Dang, I ain't even touched the part yet. But it's payback from yesterday for the orange. Tangerine. Same thing. Pretty much. I said, as if I wasn't so mad about Dad. I would have gave Cotton the whole book report on oranges, but nah. No, thank you. I said. Cotton shrugged. And then we just sat there. She didn't even ask if I wanted to talk about something, and that was nice. We were just chilling, smacking our own legs, trying to stop mosquitoes from eating us alive, watch watching blue day turn into black night. And then the streetlights came on, and there was nothing left of her ice but a cup, which she had smashed and folded into a tiny fan. Her mouth was still red. Yo, I gotta go before Grandma sends Skunk out looking for me. And I ain't got no time to hear his stinky mouth or stinky butt, stinky mouth with all that yapping. She got up. Cool. Cotton stood in front of me, staring, looking for the cracks. You need a hug or something? Such a funny thing to ask someone after you've been sitting with them for a while. Seems so random, but honestly, I did need a hug. You gonna tell Patty? Of course. I laughed, stood up. I hugged Cotton, and it was like hugging Cotton. And for a few seconds, I was okay. A few minutes after she left, my mother opened the door. Lou, it's getting dark now. He's not here yet, so you need to wait for him inside. I ain't the type to not listen to my mom. For real. I don't got that in me because my mom, though she can though she's cool, can sometimes remind me that she's not playing. And even says to me, don't make me remind you how fast cool can turn to cold. I ain't want that. But I wasn't going inside. I wasn't moving until he got home. I stayed right there where I was, face forward, staring at the street ahead of me, and I heard the house door close behind me, and then scoot over. My mother took Cotton's seat. She was holding an orange, already peeled, already split, and handed me half. Remember when I named you Orange Master? I peeled and sliced from the bunch. A slice from the bunch, popped it into my mouth, nodded. Remember why? She asked, and immediately I just started laughing. You thought eating an orange was like eating an apple. You just bit into it, and then you tasted the skin. I thought you were gonna die. I thought I was gonna die, I said, still mad. But yeah, orange skin is gross. Yeah, Mom's laugh simmered. And then I taught you how to peel it. Told you that the skin is a part of the orange, but not all of it. It's just there to protect all the sweet stuff from the inside. And I believed that until I tasted a grapefruit. I said this time letting myself laugh a little, just a little bit. Mom didn't say nothing else, just put her head on my shoulder. We sat there just like that on the front step, eating slice after slice, quiet. And not too much time later, maybe 10 minutes, my father pulled up. He got out of his car, and when he saw us, his face scrunched. What y'all doing out here? He said, coming toward us. Mom stood up. Waiting for you. She leaned over and kissed him on the cheek. He put his hand on her stomach. She put her hand on his chest, almost pressing him to stop, not to come closer, to stay where he was. Then she turned around and went inside. What's up, kid? He said, cool, normal, goose-like. Before answering, I pinched each of my eyes. peeling my contacts out, held them in a loose fist, turned him into a blur. I need to ask you something, I say, trying to put a strong in my voice. Okay. You said you sold Coach's father's last hit, right? Yeah, and I'm not proud of. So you got his gold medal? If there was ever a time, I believe my mother, when she called me lightning, it was there whenever a moment when I felt like I could split something in half in a second. It was right then. Those words were like sharp bolt that seemed to come out of nowhere. I couldn't see him, couldn't see what his body was saying, and I ain't really care. I needed to hear what his mouth had to say. I saw a smudge of him moving to the left, so I moved to the center of the step to block him from taking Mom and Cotton's seat. Okay, he said, standing. There's an explanation. How'd you take his medal and not give it back to him? It's an Olympic medal. There's no way you don't know how important that is to him. That's like, I don't know, maybe the most important thing ever for somebody like Coach, for somebody like me. I know, but what? You couldn't have possibly think you couldn't what could you possibly have to say? What could be the reason? I wanted to tell him, Lou, he yelled back, then took a step back. I couldn't see his face. Didn't want to see it. Glad I couldn't see it. But I could see his arms lifting, probably doing the same thing he always did when he was trying to explain something, rubbing his palms together as if he was washing them. But wasn't no washing this off. I wanted to be him, not be him, but be like him. Dad calmed his voice a little. He teased me. He was better, and he was better than me. A better runner, a better everything. That's why I wanted you on his team, because he is the best. But I thought you said y'all were kids and you ain't take it personal. I don't now, but I did back then. I mean, you don't understand. My mother basically took care of him, and then around other people, he trashed me, say stuff like, "You sound like a broken record playing that song, sound like a scratched CD. You sound like choking Chihuahua. You sound like you need an oil change. You sound like a breakbeat over broken speakers. You sound make me want to pop lock in a cardboard box. You sound like a car radio on scan. You sound like Michael Jackson ad lib, not the he or the shamu, the other one. You sound like you the always about to sneeze, but don't. You sound like Donald Duck imitating Daffy Duck trying to imitate Donald Duck. You sound like all these things, but you look like a goose. Yeah, you look like a goose." My father's voice was jittery, but not in a way that made me think he was about to cry. It wasn't like that, but I could tell that he was feeling it. Made me know it was still stinging. Look, I've just been, I don't know, I guess too embarrassed to confront him and give it back. He doesn't even know it was me. And the more time that went by, the harder it got. I heard his feet shuffle, felt him on my side. This time I scooted over to let him slide in. Dad, you gotta give it back to him. You always tell me about fixing mistakes. I'm sorry, and you're right. I'm gonna give it back to him tomorrow. I can't do it tomorrow. I gotta work tomorrow. Ain't no other way I'm gonna be able to keep this secret. Coach is too good, too real, an honest dude. So you gotta do it tomorrow. My father blew a hard breath, and I could hear the scrappy sound of his fingers scratching his head. I stood up, put my hand behind me to feel for the door. Oh, and I lost an earring, I added quickly. Good night.